She was a television broadcaster when suddenly things went wrong. Vivian King has written a book called When the Words Suddenly Stop, Finding My Voice Again After a Massive Stroke. Vivian, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Carlos, thank you. Nice to be here. I appreciate it.
That intro kind of shocks me because this is what we do for a living and you couldn't speak. Tell me what happened.
So on October 25th, 2013, I woke up and I knew I had to go to a Girl Scouts breakfast. And I thought, it was a Friday, 7:30 in the morning. And I'm like, I don't like to be up and out at that time. But then I said, no, my friend invited me weeks ago. So instead of calling her to say I'm not coming, I have to go. So I got up, got dressed, walked out of the house without my makeup on, but that's not unusual because sometimes, us TV reporters would do our makeup in the car on the way to the destination, not at a stop sign or not while you're driving, but, at stoplights. And if I didn't finish, I would do it once I got to my final destination. Well, I get to the hotel where this event was taking place and I must have forgotten about it. And I really think in hindsight that the episode was starting at that time because I didn't even think about putting my makeup on anymore once I got to the hotel. I got up, got out of the car, went into the hotel, went into the ballroom. People were saying hi to me. I got to my table. I thought I was saying hi back to them, and I think I was, but I just wasn't myself. People in hindsight told me that I wasn't outgoing like I normally am. And so they asked me, are you feeling okay? And I said, fine. And they said, maybe you should eat something. I took a bite of sausage, and that's the last thing I clearly remember for 10 days because I had collapsed at the Girl Scout breakfast. They called 911, rushed me to the closest hospital. I was there for under an hour when they said, no, we need to rush her to our hospital that specializes in stroke care. And so I went to St. Luke's Medical Hospital in Milwaukee, and I was in neurological ICU for 10 days and in the hospital for a total of 32 days. So it was pretty scary because I had never really been in the hospital for myself. So this was a shocker.
So here you are, a healthy person, a very communicative, very fun-loving person as you are, suddenly finding yourself acting kind of like a zombie. And good for your friends that they recognized that something was wrong and they called 911. That may have changed the course of your life, that rapid response, right?
And went to the hospital. And went to the Girl Scouts breakfast because if I had stayed at home on a Friday, I like to travel, people would not have even known anything was wrong with me until I didn't show up for work on Monday. So the fact that, I said, I'm very faithful and I'm like, God got me up and got me out so that I was in a room full of hundreds of people so that it happened there and I got immediate attention. If I had not done that, there's no doubt that I would be dead today and not here talking to you.
And so the culprit in all of this is something that is at the very bottom of the stroke risk factor list, which is really interesting to me. So you did high blood pressure? No. All of the obesity, none of that, right? So tell me what you discovered was the cause, what the doctor said.
So the weird thing is I did not even discover this until my discharge day. And so I was talking to the doctor. He was telling me, about my outpatient therapy that I needed to undergo. And then I said, oh, what about my birth control pills? And he looks at me and says, oh, no. And I said, what? He says, that's what caused your stroke. And I looked at my mom and I said, did you know this? And she says, yes, I knew this. And so birth control pills over the age of 40 can cause blood clots. And so that is what caused the clot that was in my brain. And then it bled out and killed all of the brain cells on the left side of my brain over the part that manages your speech. And because it killed all of those cells, that's why I couldn't talk for 3.5 weeks. I had what's called aphasia. And a lot of stroke victims do suffer from aphasia depending on where their blood clot is. And I remember being in the hospital and going to a support group. It was an aphasia support group, and I had just started talking. And So we go to this, it was on my schedule, and the people in there were not speaking really well. And one girl who was younger than me had to even write her answers for us. Wow. And that's when I learned I had aphasia, and it comes in different forms, and it comes back when it wants to. And so for some people, they never get their full conversation back. And so I just feel very blessed that I can converse with you like I used to do with everybody else before.
Yeah, it is a blessing that you've come out of this, because I have a very close friend who suffered a stroke, and he has very halting speech, and he's grateful for the halting speech that he has, so he's able to communicate it all. So what's your message to the people who will read your book and learning about the stroke condition for the very first time?
Well, first of all, I want to give all stroke victims and patients hope, because, the first day you are probably not thinking that you can get through this, but you can, with a posse, with persistence, and with prayer. And that's what I kind of share in my book. And the second thing is, make sure you assemble a posse around you, because family and friends can be your advocates in the healthcare system, because I was out of it the first 10 days for sure. And really a lot of the rest of the days, but especially the first 10 days. And they had to make decisions for me before my mother was able to arrive. And so it's kind of funny, because they were telling people, we're her sister. This is my sister. And they were my sorority sisters, but they weren't my biological sisters. But they needed to say that so that they could get all of the information that they could to relate to my mom when she arrived and was able to take over.
So your book is available now, I take it, on all the usual places like Amazon and that. So yeah, we can buy the book and learn about what you went through. Also, where can people reach you on social media?
So they can reach me on Facebook, Vivian L. King on Facebook. They can reach me on my website, vivianlking.com. And I'm also on Instagram and Twitter as well. So I would be happy to touch base with people if they reached out to me.
Well, Vivian King, it's been a delight to talk with you. I wish you the very best and continued success. Thanks so much for giving us this really important message.
Carlos, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you.